started working at Silverstream in 2013, and so that was the launch of a phase of research, a 5-year period called the Canterbury Waterway Rehabilitation Experiment. So the researchers are freshwater ecologists, so John Harding and Angus McIntosh, and they were tasked by the Mackenzie Charitable Trust to trial solutions for freshwater ecology, freshwater ecosystems on farm. The science that we needed to generate it needed to be practical, we needed to work with people, and we needed to really be about solutions. And so it really shifted the focus of what our group was doing at the time to really putting people at the center of a lot of these conversations and building an experiment around that. So Silverstream was one of 9 sites that were selected in 2013. They're all waterways that were at the top of the catchment. They were all on farm. We wanted to work on lengths of waterway that were about 1 kilometer long each. So that's 9 kilometers of different experiments, and we needed to network and embed these different restoration trials so that we could learn from the different sites. And so our team really involved people like me, so I'm a freshwater restoration person, and I'm really interested in making those connections. And we also have a science communicator and a field and lab technician who did a lot of the sampling. And then we added postgraduate students to that and a number of staff. And so we work on each of these sites, and Silverstream in particular really stands out because it's the only site across all of our across our gradient where there's a wetland right at the top of the waterway. This idea, there's a lot of science to suggest start at the top where the problems, can be manageable, and where they problems originate, and work your way down. And so having this 1 hectare wetland from an experimental approach was amazing, but also from a community approach was also amazing because the Simpsons and the community really embraced the work, or at least trusted us enough to trial things and give it a go. So we've really just worked with them to try and realize their vision. Hear the birds, this is amazing. And we've just seen it grow. We've seen this wetland grow. The first thing you can see and hear are the birds, and see these different plants that are more than 15 years old now. And we've really tried to build along that vision, monitor things along the way, and really just extend that work. We have a couple of more months till the end of the year. The projects, we were hoping to really scale across different places, and I think the important thing is we want to try and figure out what did we learn that makes sense for this place, but also how can you apply that to other places. And so we have a communicator in our team, and so we have an online set of resources on a Figshare website, and it just allows people to download that information and access that information. So for the next 3 months, for the end of to wrap this project up, it really is about telling the stories, being really clear about what science we have been addressing, what solutions we have, and because it is an experiment, we've actually uncovered way more questions than we have answers. So it's really about trying to communicate the lessons learned and really try and keep the communities connected. So, we had already, I think at the back of my head, I always knew that the science the science comes and goes with funding, but the communities are in place forever, and that's actually the ingredient to making sure that restoration it survives long term. And if people were on that journey with us, then they could do the monitoring. They're now connected in a way that they know what funding sources are. They have an open connection to Doc and Fonterra and Darien Zed and to the Runanga. So I think just having that context and those connections in place, that will survive. You can already see here in Silverstream with Fish and Game working on Snake Creek, a million meters further downstream, ECAN. So there's now a critical mass of people in this catchment, and we were one part of it, but I think hopefully it will just continue to grow, and that would be ideal, I think, from a restoration perspective.